Hello, hello, everyone. We are going live here with another Team League host. This one's going to be Ouch House versus Average Joe's. Ema on Ouch House's side, and ShyGuyForSmash on Average Joe's, with Yanenga versus Medusa on Sherwood here. Medusa does have position, so she'll be going first. And I do quite like this matchup in general. It's a very interesting one. With me, I have Mitosis once again. How you doing?
Hello, I am doing great. I also love this matchup. I'm pretty sure everybody on the Discord's played it a bunch at this point. Super even, super back and forth. It's a classic.
Yeah, it's one that uh, really, as soon as Yanenga kind of released and started seeing a lot more play, it's one that people figured out as a very interesting one because of how prevalent Medusa often is in competitive play, and up until more recently, didn't have a ton of like matchups where you could really take fighters into her and feel comfortable. This one's really all about kind of who has tempo, in my experience, and it really comes down to, I think Medusa's long-term plan is to eventually run Yanenga out of defenses and get a gaze through, undefended essentially. But in order to do that, you have to make sure that you're not having to use too many of your versatiles on defense. So if you can keep pressure on Yanenga, then she's not necessarily going to be able to put that pressure back on you and make you use your versatiles defensively. And so it comes down to just a lot of push and pull with each fighter, and as a result, becomes very interesting. This map also is one that is quite good for both fighters. Um, I generally feel like it's one of Medusa's best, if not her best maps, so even though Yen likes it as well, the zone coverage is just really nice for Medusa, so I don't know if I'd necessarily give her an edge because of that, but I can see it maybe being a little bit rough, just because the ability restricts your positioning a lot, um, based on wanting to avoid pings, especially if you're in the zones in the middle that covers a lot of the map, those tri zones. What are your thoughts for the map, or how we'll see this game play out in general?
Well, one thing that I would immediately like to mention, you talked about how this is a very tempo-focused matchup, and I think Shy Guy would agree. Immediately, turn one, going in and attacking the archer with a snipe, which, if Yen didn't play the pin, would have been a huge hand advantage.
Hmm.
I really like the aggressive play from Shy Guy, and you already have an archer dead, no damage has been taken, no harpies are down, and you have more cards in hand than Yen. So she might be a little scared to start pressuring you right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's.
As oh, gun.
I was just gonna say that's one of Yen's kind of weaknesses, right? Is that she doesn't have any card draw on her actual card effects. So the only way that she can draw more than just maneuvering twice on a turn is using her Master of the Hunt to gain an action and maneuver more, which
And you
often
don't
isn't
want
the
to do
way
that.
you want to use it. There are matchups where you will, but yeah, it's not ideal, of course.
Looks like is Ema threatening a stallion charge here? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you go in and you attack, and then do something like a stallion, you can get away before Medusa can do anything about it. That being said, there is some counterplay to it. Of course, Medusa could feint, though. If she's feinting a stallion, it means she's not feinting your double attack or your surprise volley. So it's a thing where it could be a bit of a downside for her to do something like that. Um, However, if she uses something like a dash, then you're not going to be able to get a damage into her with the stallion. You could stay away to avoid the ping, but you'd have to go into like brown essentially. You're gonna see it fainted,
Yep, exact interaction we were expecting.
So the nice thing for Yen is she can
I'll
put
ping him.
the ping damage on the archer,
Yep. Mm,
and we'll see if she decides to do that. Nope, just gonna take it on herself. Wants to keep the archer up, especially after losing the first one so quickly.
We do have Kuntir in the chat saying that even with the timer, the game's going to be an hour and a half. I would like to remind him and you about what happened when we don't have a timer for this matchup. Would you like to elaborate, Darkblade?
I don't think we need to do that. No, it's fine. Uh, yeah. So essentially, um, it was the first time I'd streamed. It was when I first started out. It was quarterfinals of Winter of Champions a couple tourneys ago now. And I was going against Jason, and both Jason and I are known for being deliberate players. And I hadn't played the matchup before, and it's a very complicated matchup. And yeah, it probably was not the most entertaining stream, I should say. But but yeah, I like to think it's gotten better since then. But yeah, the timer definitely helps avoid those really long uh, matchups because there is a lot to think about in something like this. But being able to like manage that time effectively is definitely something that people have had to adapt to as the timer's been introduced. And I feel like ultimately, even though this one is very complex, it's still very doable. Especially if you have some experience with it, right? Because that does factor in as well. If you know kind of how um, various matchups go and how they feel when playing them, you can kind of make those decisions quicker than you would if you're kind of fresh to it. And especially with Team League, helping out with practice and stuff, that can definitely give you a leg up. But both these players really good, so
Team League.
yes.
So, one thing that we didn't mention at the time, but I'm looking at now, it's really surprising. Medusa discarded a winged frenzy to that pin the prey. Yanenga essentially killed a harpy for free without even knowing it right now.
Yeah, that was something that I didn't note when it was discarded. But yeah, the Winged Frenzy on the discard, a bit unfortunate just because taking out that, or losing the ability to revive one of the Harpies means that Medusa's only going to have a max of 4 this game. But
What do
as
you
long as
think
she can still
that
get
guy's
some value out of the cards. The clutching claws are particularly important, just because it puts pressure on Yen's hand, which is something that she can already struggle with. And if you can get those off, then you're in a great spot. Yenenga, of course, can do stuff like point blank on defense to kill the Harpy. She's going to take a damage in return, but could be worth it so she doesn't have to waste cards into the Harpies to get them off the board. We'll see exactly how Ema plays that. But for now, the Harpy's just kind of chilling and not getting too close and letting Yen attack for free. Now, though this one is now in the Archer's zone, so could see an attack there from something like a Divide and Conquer even, potentially, since Yen is not currently in the Archer's zone.
So Yen isn't in an archer's zone, but Medusa is on a dual zone space. If you're Medusa, do you throw a second shot? And if you're Yen, are you expecting a second shot? And do you throw the jaws?
Yeah, I think I would probably be strongly considering second shot right now since that Archer cannot soak. That being said, because it's such a good spot to do it, it could easily be a bait with something like a regroup or a snipe. So it's a tough call, because it would really suck to waste a Jaws into a regroup, but if it is a second shot and you block with something lower, you could be in some trouble here.
Oh,
Alright,
that's
so
pretty
not a
good charisma.
Jaws, but we do see a skirmish. That being said, if Medusa gets a full boost here,
Oh
we are going
yeah.
to see 3 damage. This is an interesting choice too, because this is something that...
They're in different zones, actually.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, yep, and
No worries.
yep, the Archer not able to soak here. So an interesting choice for sure. Uh, I think I like going for it when the archer can't soak for sure.
100%.
But it is very viable in this matchup to not boost the second shots at all. Because the goal, one of the win conditions is, again, just to run Yenenge out of defense. And if you can do that, basically you can save the gazes to be extra attacks. So the second shot just basically gets a defense out of Yen's hand, and then the gazes can also do the same thing, because if she doesn't block a gaze, it's just like GG, right? And so she has to block. But eventually she's gonna run out of stuff to block with, right? So if you can use all the second shots just as ways to get, because if she doesn't block a second shot, then you boost it, of course. But if she does block it, then you can just use it as basically a way to get another card out of the hand. And long term, you're going to be able to. The goal is to run her out of blocks and.
The harpy was here, right?
Yep, yeah.
And just get that gaze through undefended. Because even if two of them go into defense, it's the last one. That's all you need is to
You
have
only
that
need
last
to deal
one.
10 damage once.
Yes. So, but yeah, with the end not able to soak on the archer, I can see going for the boost there. Though we'll see if that ends up hurting the long-term strategy or not. But I feel like it's a solid choice when you're getting a guaranteed 3 in the end. She does get a archer back here with a surprise volley into that harpy though. So trading a surprise volley for a harpy and an archer, which is a pretty good deal for Yen overall.
No block for the harpy either, which means that no clutching claws.
Yeah, clutching claws would have been great.
Ooh, that could really come back to bite him then if he hasn't drawn his harpy cards yet.
Yeah, because the nice thing about Winged Frenzy is that you can like use it and then immediately attack with a harpy and get some value, etc. But yeah, if those claws don't come out, that is gonna make it a little bit harder for Medusa because she's not gonna get that that extra value from her sidekicks. Yeah, claws would have been really nice there because it would have prevented the harpy from dying as well. So Ema would have had to put another resource into it at some point.
Yeah, I'm safe. Yen? I don't want to say she's in a comfy spot right now because the position is looking pretty solid for Dusa. She's on the board right now, but if we're talking in terms of resources spent, Yen is sitting real pretty right now.
Yeah, I definitely think that things are going alright for sure at the moment for her. Looks like we might see Medusa maneuver again.
I feel like you have to be attacking Yen, even if it's just another regroup. You have to throw something at her.
Yeah, I feel it's like one of those things where you have to be attacking her every turn.
Yeah, it's like, imagine you're fighting Bigfoot and not Yenanga. Yen is super tanky, but 15 defenses is still only 15. You can get through that if you keep up the pressure.
Yeah. Especially because if you attack enough, like because she does need to use some of her versatiles on offense as well, right? And so she can't commit to using all 15 on defense. Lamart, how is the archer not in Harpy's zone?
What?
I'm not sure. Were we talking about the surprise volley, maybe? Because
The surprise volley is immediate.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't put the archer down immediate before taking the harpy off, but I believe because the harpy that got attacked was in the one that current harpy is, right, in the green yellow.
Yeah.
And so the archer did come back in green, so that was a valid placement, right?
Yeah, because the surprise volley is immediate. The effect would have happened before the harpy gets shot.
Yeah, the archer started able to attack the harpy as well, so
Yeah.
I don't think there was an issue there, but if I'm mistaken, definitely let me know. But yeah, I didn't notice anything wrong with the sequence.
I think it was just the fact that they removed the harpy from the board before the archer came down. That
Yeah,
caused.
yeah, that does technically make it more confusing.
I think that's just the thing where both players know what are happening and are just jumping to the end step
Yeah.
instead of playing out every individual step.
Yeah. So we do see, unless there's a double maneuver, Medusa's gonna get a
This
ping on
archer,
something.
this harpy.
And yeah, we do see, we saw both harpies end in not just enemy zones, but Yanenga's zone. Ooh, and with
Yeah,
the slight movement there, that is gonna take out the harpy.
This.
Alright, we're gonna see a one with the land ditched on.
that's totally fine. You don't need those.
Yeah, it's a card that you cannot block with, so that's definitely a can. Oop, I don't know why I did that right now. Oh yeah. The basically anything that you can't use in combat is one that you don't mind getting rid of. It does mean that you're maybe not going to get that healing value, of course, but I think that most of your other cards are just
And
better
then
to
we'll
keep, so
attack the
definitely
same
makes sense on the discard.
Attacking the 1 HP archer.
Maybe a regroup. Just
No,
try
no,
to
not
get.
really. Deuce is already losing fatigue.
True,
Oh,
but maybe the
heck
idea would
no.
just be to keep aggressive and try to have that card advantage.
It's a
Okay,
snipe.
gonna be a snipe, so not quite as much draw.
I would like to point out again. Another harpy dead. Only one winged frenzy. 2 claws and 2 Zeus have not been played.
Yeah.
I don't think Dusa is getting great harpy value this game, which could really bite her, because those discards can be so crushing for Yen.
Yeah. The small saving grace is that if you do have the harpy or the Zeus, for example, like you really want to play the clutching claws, whether it's on defense or offense, at some point, just to get that extra value. But as far as the Zeus goes, while it would be nice to use them as well,
Plus
um,
6, right?
especially because it puts more
7, I
pressure
think.
on Yen's defenses,
Oh yeah.
um,
I think you're right.
the
Yeah.
boost value of it is a 3, so it is something that if you do lose the Harpies and can't use the Zeus in combat, you can still boost your second shots while not taking away attacks for Medusa to, put pressure on those defenses with, essentially. And you're able to save stuff like gazes for trying to get through that undefended one at some point. And you do 1 less damage with the second shot compared to the gaze boost, but again, it's a situation where you can at least get that extra damage without taking away the number of attacks you can do on her. We did see a maneuver after that attack into the archer with Medusa,
Yeah.
which again, I would be wanting to see just more attacks into
Yen had
Yen.
4 cards in hand, too. Maybe something to consider. Yen had both archers up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's sitting on a shield formation, which is why she was okay with letting an archer die.
Yeah.
What if you just threw all of your attacks into Yen while the archers are alive? And basically just blank that shield formation, but still force her to block stuff.
Yeah, I could see it being reasonable, especially because we did see one with the land discarded. She's maybe not going to get to, like, she's already lost one, so she's only maybe going to get that full healing with the other one if you do attack her and she's able to, like, fully soak into archers. But yeah, I honestly don't hate it because, again, that does make shield formation just a blank 3 block, which, to be fair, against Medusa, outside of second shot, isn't actually that bad. But, still. She doesn't get the discard value, which is something that she generally likes to do. Well, it looks like Shy Guy might be playing a card which can only really be Winged Frenzy at this point. I mean, I guess you could glance for a pass, but you want that damage, of course, so much more
No, it's
likely
not
to be
even
a
a
Winged
pass.
Frenzy.
You take 2.
Oh yeah, no, because it's, yeah, you deal...
2 to a fighter in your zone.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be pretty bad, I suppose. We see the revive coming out. Harpy goes adjacent to the archer here. Might see an immediate attack. But again, I don't think Yen super minds. And now the harpies are like, these are the only 2 harpies that we're gonna have for the rest of the game, and there's still 2 clutching claws and 2 Zeus, as you pointed out.
I could see a Zeus into the archer right now, honestly.
I will attack this archer.
Yeah, it does get the harpy out of Yen's zone. Could even go into like the space right next to Medusa on the right there in the red, and prevent Yen from actually attacking any of the harpies on her next turn unless she boosts, which doesn't seem likely. Though I suppose if she's gonna overdraw anyway, she might commit to it, though.
Well, to attack
Then she would get
anybody,
pinged.
she'd need to boost from there.
Yeah,
And with Yen, the difference between a boost 1 and boost 2 is pretty minimal.
yeah. Alright, Archer takes it. Going to force a discard, which is going to be a divide and conquer. Interesting, could have blocked with that to have the archer survive, but then you would have had to discard another card on top of that. So instead, just
You
ditching
would
the
have had to
divide.
discard a real card.
Yeah, exactly.
That plus, if it was a Zeus, then you just lose the archer.
Yeah, yeah, it's really bad if it's a Zeus there and you block with it because you lose the card and the archer in as well.
I'll attack this harpy.
Gonna see again. Shoot that harpy first action.
My gut says this is a surprise volley.
Yeah, that would be interesting, especially if you revive the archer in the
Sorry?
zone and then
Harpy will
attack the other one. That'd be
Oh
interesting.
no, Harpy takes!
Yeah. Okay, we'll see where the archer goes.
Yeah, I'll get the archer.
Could put it in the yellow-green and then
Dark
attack
Blade.
the other one, but no, we're just gonna see it.
Does Medusa
further.
have left? Because we're talking about Medusa's win condition being running Yen out of defenses. Yen's only played 3 defenses.
Yeah. Yeah, Medusa still has a lot to smack with, but yeah, there's been so many things that have gone into archers, right? And there's been a fair amount of those that went undefended. And the ones that didn't were, well, yeah, I think what the archers only blocked with the pin to prey, and that one still died. So yeah, we've seen a lot of attacks go into archers, which definitely makes sense to a degree, but yeah, I think Yen's in a fine spot as far as defenses, so that long-term run Yen out of them might not be in the best position right now.
Ignore the archers sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a personal thing, but I always felt like attacking into archers when you absolutely don't have to, always a bit of a waste, because especially if they block with a pin, you just went 2 for 1 with a sidekick that Yen's gonna get back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a tricky choice either way. Because it's very tempting to not let Yen get that value from soaking with her ability. But I don't know, if the plan is to just run her out of blocks and get a gaze through, which I do feel like is probably what you typically try to do as Medusa. Yeah, I don't know if you care as much about the archers as you would in other matchups.
Yeah, because even without the archers, Yen is just so dang tanky.
Yeah, especially against someone like Medusa who doesn't really have anything other than second shot to really get damage through in combat. A Unmatched tournament, I assume probably Josh on the account. If so, hello Josh. If not, hello whoever is on the account. What is up? Also, we haven't seen Medusa really able to control the center, so those tri-zones haven't been super helpful for her at the moment. Ah, Gary. Hello, Gary.
Oh, hi, Gary. Now that you mention it, Medusa's only gotten, what, 2 pings off onto an archer?
I think so.
Actually, no, 1 onto an archer, 1 onto...
Yeah, one onto Yen, yeah. Which could have been put onto an archer, but was not.
Yeah. Still, Medusa's... I don't know, I feel like Medusa's kind of struggling this game so far.
Yeah, perhaps a bit.
Not really done much damage to Yen's defenses. She's not done that much damage, all things considered. Still can't counter out of it, though, because whenever I do that, I always end up losing to this stupid character.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I discarded a gaze with my stones. I should be winning this game. No. It's never that easy.
Another thing to note is that if you put enough pressure on Yen, especially because you have like some draw here and there with stuff like snipes or regroups and whatnot, you can get in a position where Yen could be just top decking for defense, right? Because even though Yen has a lot, she does have a decent amount of reds, yellows, and archer cards. So if you keep her low enough, she could be in like dire spots where even in the middle game you might be able to sneak in a gaze if she gets an unlucky draw order. But as is, it's been...
I don't know,
I think
Yen's
she's
sitting
been
on a
very
full
comfortable.
7
Well,
card
yeah,
hand.
at this point, I think it's very unlikely that Yen gets caught in that position. I think, if anything, it's going to have to be that, you know, run her out of defenses completely at the end and get that last gaze in. But
Although I do think earlier in the game that was a very viable strategy when Dusa was sitting on a 6-card hand and Yen had 4 cards and Dusa chose to maneuver.
yeah.
And we see another attack going into an archer. What do you think here?
And we also saw in that spot, because Dusa attacked the archer first, we could have seen like a double attack into Yen instead. And maybe, you know, Yen gets away with some movement effects, but at least, you know, force her to do it. Attacking the archer? I don't like it.
Oh. So Dusa probably ditches a regroup here, but still, that's one less attack that you can throw into Yen.
Yeah.
Could see a Zoot's discard as well.
Yeah, I could see that being reasonable, though again, as noted before, it could be nice for the second shots if you still want to have the gazes as attacks to throw. So Dusa gonna be moved into this yellow zone here. Allows Yen to go back to the green if she wants, and we do see a regroup ditched. Now we see the dash movement from Medusa, just going right back center, though she can't get to that tri-zone.
Could allow Yen to throw a double attack and then walk away.
Yeah, that'd be pretty solid. Again, putting pressure on Dusa's hand means that she, and if she is having to use her purples on defense, she's not using those to attack you.
So, double attack into double hiss could be really funny right now.
That is that is true. Fainting it.
Okay, I'll need to
Fainting the double, also very reasonable. Especially with 2 surprise volleys already gone. Double attack is probably one of the best feint targets. Just to not, again, put that extra pressure on hand. Though yeah, the double hiss could have been wild. You don't really have a great way to follow up though. So I think I like the feint overall better.
Oh, absolutely. I think the feint is the better play there. Because with double hiss, you're still breaking even. It's cards for cards.
And if that did happen, Yen could have gone into that green-white on the right edge of the map. I guess that means that, and yeah, she would have less cards, so she wouldn't be able to just do a, like, maneuver to, or she wouldn't be forced to overdraw on a double maneuver. So I definitely think that Deuce has been in a good spot as far as being the aggressor and forcing Yen to be more defensive. Unfortunately, there's been so many attacks that have gone into archers that just haven't needed to be blocked that I think the overall game plan of trying to get those, whittle down those defenses just hasn't come to fruition. So I think at this point it'll probably be pretty difficult. So what do you think is Medusa's main win con at this point? Do you think it's still possible for her to run Yen out of those defenses and eventually get that gaze through? And if not, does she have to just rely on getting second shots past the jaws and skirmishes?
I don't think Dusa has the attacks to get through all of Yen's defenses at this point, quite frankly. I think you really do just need to throw those second shots, get your damage from glances, and hope that you're able to exhaust Yen somehow. But even that looks a little sketchy at the moment.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable, though, because even though Dusa's down on deck, she does have 2 glances, which will even up the deck and put Yen even further behind on life. Because Dusa's not taking damage this game, basically.
Yeah. That is fair. Glance does put Yen down to 7, essentially. We're gonna see, it looks like to be a double maneuver here. It does mean that Yen is forced to engage if she doesn't want to overdraw.
Yeah,
And she's not going to be able to reach the Harpy unless she boosts with a 3. Those are her more valuable cards in general.
Does Yen really mind overdraw that much right now?
Probably not, to be honest with you.
Like, if she's sitting on 1 with a land, maneuver 1 with the land keeps her fine.
Yeah, that's also true. That would be ideal for her, I think. And yeah, Tave, I agree. Yen's positioning there on that turn meant that a point blank was guaranteed if Medusa wanted to go and then attack. Though it could be punished with something like a second shot, of course.
If you want to threaten a point blank against Dusa, be my guest.
Yeah.
Because that would even things up a lot, because then you only need to find 2 damage from your next second shot, which is very easy.
Jaws was set up to be quite good too.
No, but not if Dusa went to the single zone spot.
I think she had a boost to get there.
No, she didn't. She was on solo yellow. She could go up into yellow brown, into the tri-zone.
Oh, she was in the one right below the yellow brown. I thought she was one lower, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can throw an offensive point blank. Defensive point blank, I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, that's probably a bit risky.
Yeah. I like this positioning from Yen. Dusa isn't reaching you without a boost. The Harpy does, but you still force initiative onto Dusa.
Yep. We are going to see the Harpy go in. Perhaps with the last clause here. Could see a point blank on defense, just to get rid of the Harpy. Stallion would also be quite nice, and that guards you a little bit better against...
Kill Harpy, go into Dusa zone, attack, maneuver.
Yeah. And we see Medusa deciding to stay in the tri-zone here, but that does mean that if Yen does have something like Stallion, she can take out the Harpy, end in red-gray, attack Medusa, and then maneuver into, I guess she'd have to boost into solo dark green, because that's the only spot Medusa couldn't reach.
Wait, this is 2 damage onto Yen, so...
Yeah, so getting 2 damage there is very nice. It is basically It's a nice consolation for losing the Harpy, because now your Clutching Claws is dead.
Dead.
It's a 2 boost, which could either be used for a very sad second shot, or be used to get around and boost to reach when, depending on positioning. The other Zeus can still be used alright for the second shot, if you still want the gazes as extra attacks, which at this point, probably not running her out of defense like we talked about, but more attacks are passes in the exhaustion game.
If Yen doesn't find an archer, Dusa potentially has perfect lethal on her right now. With the 2 second shots. Wait, no, never mind. I'm bad at math. It's actually no, I got it. So 2 second shots over 4s at 7. That's 6, and then you have 2 glances,
Yeah,
which can finish her off.
yeah, that is Medusa's win con now. Just need to avoid Jaws being able to block for more than 4.
Medusa can definitely do that. She's
Yeah.
move 3, and she has Harpy cards she can boost with. And that's assuming perfect blocks from Yen. If
Yeah.
Yen blocks with a 3, she's in a really scary spot. Because now Ping starts to become really spooky too.
Yeah, it's true. I actually think that Harpy getting that 2 damage through is going to be very relevant then.
Exactly this.
However, if an archer comes back, then the math changes, and now I'm not too sure about it.
Yeah, Yen still has multiple revives. See a hiss here. Ooh.
Oh,
Okay, big Jaws.
I don't know if that's Yen's win con though.
Yeah. 2 damage there, but Jaws is like one of the blocks
Yeah.
you kind of need to do that perfect block against. But maybe Yen realizing that at this point, even that won't be enough. So going for the big 6
He has to
value
be sitting
Jaws.
on like a skirmish or a Jaws.
I would imagine so. We see Medusa maneuvering off the Trizone so Jaws doesn't full block or almost full block a second shot here.
Also worth noting, Yen got pinged, and pings change up the math too.
Yeah. Yen still has a couple stallions that she could potentially use to avoid pings while still attacking, but yeah, that's it's not gonna go great. Okay, we're just gonna see a glance here.
That's totally fine.
I believe there is 1 surprise volley left. Yeah, 1 surprise volley left, 0.
1 surprise, 1 feint.
And yeah, Angel, Medusa, it was interesting. Medusa had a good win rate last season, but the first round she actually went 2-3 last season. So we'll see what her first round looks like this time around. This time around, there's 8 games including her, of course, since we have the 2 divisions and she was present in all of the drafts.
I remember going right before the draft, just talking strategy with my team, and I just out of nowhere, I'm like, guys, I'm just not gonna pick Medusa. What do you guys think? And everyone's like, no, wait, what? But hey, it worked out for us.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about it and realizing, okay, we got Yen, we got Jill, we got Tesla, Luke, we got a whole bunch of characters where it's like, they can take Dusa. If the other team wants to take Dusa and just let us pick a lineup of fighters that are good into her and are also just good fighters, I'm really not scared of her this week.
Yeah.
Next week could be terrifying, but
yeah, true. Alright, so we see a dash used here to boost in. Unfortunately not a clutching clause, which would be the one that would be a bit better, though maybe even if he does have it, maybe saving it when he needs the 2 boost, but I feel like most of the time it's not going to be super necessary. So we see that, and one thing that is of note here is because Yen is in the only solo zone, or the only solo space in this zone, Jaws is going to be at least a 5.
No attacking with this.
I feel like Yen has to have another Jaws because she attacked with one.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly not to.
The nice thing for Deuce is because she got the ping, even if this draws as a 5, it still works out. The math still works out that Yen's dead to the 2-second shots and a glance, as long as the other Jaws doesn't catch it. Ooh, okay.
Oh no!
Yeesh. So this is gonna put pressure on Deuce's hand, but she's
It's hard.
definitely not gonna let the archer come back because it basically turns this into a 5. I mean, I guess she could let the archer come back, but I feel like
No.
she's not going
Don't
to.
bother. Because now, Yen is dead next time she comes in.
Yeah.
Glance ping.
Ditching a dash and then boosting
Yeah.
with 2Ks. Yeah, so now Yen is
Dusa
at
doesn't need to
3.
interact anymore.
Yeah.
Faint when Yen comes in next time, and... Yeah. However...
She
Yen
did go
can
down to
just
3
go
cards.
full gas.
Yeah, so Yen... If Yen has some Master of the Hunts here, she might just have to go for it. Because I don't see a way out now. Because like you're saying, all Dusa needs is the glance and a ping. But even just a glance and a second shot now, boosted fully, even if Yen has like a max value Jaws, will still do it. So Yen needs to get an archer on the board, or she needs to kill Medusa.
Even an archer on the board won't save you from all of the damage, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yen's basically at 5 health, and then 3 damage from the second shot, 2 damage from the... whatever you call it.
Okay, so we're going to see maneuver into a Master of the Hunt. So turn is reset, 2 actions remaining for Yen. Attacking Medusa. She did get rid of a couple dashes, so she actually doesn't have any dashes left. So she is stuck in Yen's zone. Gonna see a hiss to start it out. Alright, 1 damage over the hiss. Now Yen's gonna have to ditch something. Getting rid of point blank definitely makes sense.
I don't think you play that card anymore.
No.
Guess I'll die today.
1 action left for Yen. Yeah, the problem here is that you can't necessarily even back off. I mean, you probably can, just because Medusa would have to have exactly second shot gaze.
But now you give her so much more time to find it.
Yeah, that's the issue. You think. Yeah, the ideal Yen turn there would have been to try and kill. It would have been amazing to have like both of the doubles, surprise volley, etc., and then hopefully Medusa just doesn't have enough blocks to weather it.
And Medusa just sits back, rebuilds.
Yeah.
Admires the weather for a little bit, and then goes in when she pleases.
Yeah.
And Yen has to approach. If they just sit here and stare at each other, well, Yen's going to die very fast.
Yep. Yeah, so despite the going after the archers and not paying as much attention to Yen running out of blocks, you know, Medusa can still find a good chunk of damage between incidental pings, the second shots that can get over fully boosted, and the glances. Plus, Harpy was able to do a little bit of damage there to put Yen in this position in the first place, so that was definitely nice.
Yeah, blocking the Harpy with the point blank might have been the thing that turned the tide.
Yeah.
Because before, Dusa would have been a couple of points of damage off, and Yen probably could have toughed it out, but yeah, she's in a rough spot right now.
And yeah, as soon as Dusa has the feint and the glance, I don't actually think Yen can do anything about that other than try to pop off with a big turn, but it's going to be hard to do 11 damage, especially if Yen's not, or if Dusa's not ending in your zone, so you're always having to maneuver in first, and then at most you get like maybe 3 attacks if you get all the action gain to go off.
I mean, Deuce has got, what, 5 defenses left, and 2 of them are regroups?
It's true.
No dashes. Just a snipe, a feint, and a hiss. Granted, that's a very solid suite of defenses against whatever Yen can throw, but
Yeah.
I think you just
I think you
have
just
to
maneuver
jump
in
it.
place here, and then
Yeah.
you want to make
Medusa,
sure you have as
not
many of
there.
those defenses mentioned as possible. But yeah, I mean, maneuver, master the hunt, surprise volley plus 2 doubles gets you somewhat close. Problem is if you start with the surprise volley and it gets feinted, then you don't get the action gain, which means you can only use one of the doubles. If you start with a double and it gets feinted, then that means that Dusa didn't, have to use 2 defenses on it. Just trying to find the hand to get that combo going, because you can't really go in unless you have the full potential of...
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter that you're getting low, because like you're losing long term anyway, so just
You get it.
finding the cards does give Medusa more chance to find what she needs, which is unfortunate, but if you don't have it, you can't really justify going in. Alright, gets rid of a shift.
That sucks, but I think it's the right play.
Yeah. Just not part of the most damage you can output. You need the doubles and the surprise volley for that.
We need to ask him after the game where in the deck all of the combo pieces were.
Yeah. I'd also be interested to know where the feint was, because if Medusa's been sitting on it for a while, she's fine, but if she still doesn't have it, she could be a little bit worried, because she doesn't have a way to, like, not only is it one of the blocks that she doesn't have, but it's also, she can't stop the action gain, and she can't stop the doubles.
Yeah. What about you, Smash? So I will maneuver, and I'll boost with this.
Oh, wait, if Deuce just has a second shot
Yeah.
before, it's just death.
Yeah, which I think she does now. That's the other downside, is if you give Medusa too much time and she finds those 2 cards, then she can just win on the spot. Yep.
Yeah, GG.
I'll boost it with this.
And there it is.
GG.
GG.
We'll see what they have, and I'll turn up the players, see what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's tough because like you can't come in there because I have feint, so like
Yeah, exactly. You feign this or this,
mhm.
then you pick me, and then you glance me every
Yeah.
time. So I was looking for a master of the hunt. But,
Yeah.
but it was the last card.
Mm.
Yeah, I made the wrong call when you attacked me the previous time with this, and since you were in a double, don't remember where we were, but you were in a double zone, so I thought
Yeah, I think
you
I
were-
was here and you were here, if I remember.
yeah, you're right. So I didn't think you were attacking with this. I thought it was a bait or something, so I played this.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm pretty sure at that point I didn't have any good bait attacks in my hand because I wanted to bait attack, but I was like, I have to. There's nothing else like good I can attack with here.
Great.
So yeah.
Well played. Good game.
Yeah, thanks. Same to you. Yeah, I feel like you did a really good job of dealing with the harpies. The fact that I was only able to get 3 of their cards off was really well done.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty confident because in testing the harpies was so annoying, but here I managed to get rid of them, but then I just took too much damage. And
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. This matchup's really interesting. Yeah, I think it's a really solid 50-50.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, health total here probably says otherwise.
I mean, I think it was much closer than it looked like to health totals because I had 3 good defenses left. So I don't know if I wasn't able to draw them. That could have like I've had games in practice. I've had games where I was in control like for a good amount, and then I have to take like a double attack undefended, and suddenly it's much worse. So
Yeah, yeah, maybe with a combo turn.
Mhm.
But yeah, well played.
Thanks, India.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well played, guys. This is always an interesting matchup. A lot of really um, small interactions like over the course of a game, and there's definitely different routes that each fighter can take. And so yeah, well played and fun one to watch.
Yeah, thank you for hosting.
Of
Yep.
course.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that was a super fun one to watch. For a while, we were having trouble deciding who we thought was winning throughout the game. It was really even throughout until that very end.
Mm-hmm.
Although,
Yeah.
Emma, one thing I was curious about, when you did the first Master of the Hunt, what was your hand looking like at the time?
So yeah, it was very annoying because I wanted to get some damage in, but I couldn't. My hand was um so well clearly this. I didn't have any reds, I think.
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah.
tough.
I want. Yeah, if I could have gone for a combo turn, I would have. But I had like this. I think another one of these. I had uh this that I attacked with because it was the least bad. I know I attacked with a shift. I had two
Yeah.
shifts. I think my hand was something like this.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
no.
So I remember I thought about fainting that because I was expecting the double attack, but I kind of realized that like having one feint left was really important to me because then I could make you be scared to come in. Whereas if I don't have a feint, you can you won't have to worry that much about ping damage if you come in with action gain or whatnot. So
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Do you guys think there was something else I could have done there? Because I felt kind of
With
I don't.
what you had, no, I don't think there was much more you could have done that turn.
Yeah. Yeah, with that hand, I don't know. Yeah, because it's just like none of the cards you want to have for that. And like I guess you could wait, but I don't know. Like that just puts you in a bad spot long term, probably. So yeah, the other Master of Hunt being bottom card definitely doesn't help either. Because there was maybe still like a small line near the end if you could get the other one. And Dusa didn't have like the feint or only had like a couple of the blocks, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I thought that I couldn't win without Master of the Hunt. Um, or I mean, I could have gone in and prayed that there was no feint or a glance, but I thought that was a worst option. But yeah, in this turn, if instead of this hand, I think I didn't have one of these and I had point blank, but I
Mm,
mean,
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
does
not much better.
yeah.
yeah, exactly. If instead of these I had, I don't know, like something like I don't know, something like that. I
Like, if you
Yeah.
think.
have that hand, just YOLO it.
Yeah.
Just YOLO.
Yeah,
Who's had 3 cards? Just try and kill her.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because it was down to three cards, I think.
Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
who's
So
had 3?
yeah, yeah.
yeah, my hand was this, this, and I think this.
Mhm.
If I'm remembering correctly, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, because you defended the shift, I think, with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and yeah. Also, I was like, maybe if you defended with something else, maybe a three or maybe I don't know, undefended, maybe I would have attacked again anyway. But since you threw a big defense and then you were kind of you were like, oh, should I throw this or should I throw this?
Mhm.
Maybe of course it was a bluff, but I thought you had another one, so I just
Mhm.
maneuvered away.
Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome. Well, glad that we got to do this one again. Thanks for having me.